What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon, late afternoon now. Hope you guys are doing well, and we've got some more right tackles to take a look at here. Moving on down to the day two range. We've got a few guys to talk about in the day two range, and this first one is an absolute mouthful. I did look at this one up, however, before I started recording, so it's Max Iheanachor. Max Iheanachor of Arizona State. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. More on them later. He's 23, and he's pretty new to the game of football. He was a basketball player and is converted to playing football because, I mean, look at him. He is about 6'6", so not overly tall, but he's got good weight to him, 320, legitimate size, and he's got legitimate length, almost 34-inch arms. And if you assume that the Combine messed up the arm measurement stuff this year, which seems like they may have, it's probably over 34, so that's fine. Very, very small hands, but he tested very well. He's a very good athlete for his size, very good athlete for the position, 4'9", 140, good vert, good broad, big board. Some put him in the first, some put him in the second. The aggregate has him in the early second right now. So his play so far in his collegiate career has been mixed. Last year, 72.5 PFF grade, that's fine. Didn't allow any sacks. Little bit leaky in pass protection in 2024, but not terrible, not egregious. A lot of penalties. So, Iheanachor, the thing with him, the thing to keep in mind here, you've got to be patient because he's still kind of feeling his way through the game of football. I think he will learn fast because he still is relatively inexperienced. He's a great athlete, so that's awesome. He's got good form and technique in run blocking already, even though he is kind of new to the position and new to the sport. Like his understanding of things like angles and positioning are very good. He can cover a lot of ground when you put him in space. And because of his athleticism, it's really hard to beat him with a speed rush. So plenty of good stuff here with Iheanachor. Now, the patience that is going to be required to get the best out of him is notable. You're going to have to allow him to develop. You're going to have to be patient with him. He right now doesn't really play with leverage. He needs to learn how to sink his hips. At the next level, that's going to be crippling. Right now, twists and stunts still confuse him. He's going to have to get better there. He doesn't strike with his hands as violently as you would like. Again, something that can improve, but you're going to have to give him time. He doesn't have the strongest anchor. That may be one thing that doesn't necessarily get that much better. And while he is athletic and can cover space, his form when blocking on the move is not great. He will shove instead of locking on. So you are going to need to give him time to get better. But if you do, he has a good chance to be special. So this one's fun. I think if you give this guy some time, he will be great. There is some concern. Like, there's no guarantee he ever gets there. This is kind of like the stuff I said about Boye Mafe. Boye Mafe was relatively new to the game of football when we drafted him. I thought that meant he would have extra levels to his game he would unlock beyond what we thought we had, but not really. It ended up not really going that way. He's still a good player. He's still a valuable player, but he didn't ascend the way that I was hoping because of his lack of experience. But in a draft like this, I'm pretty into this. So I go back into the first round. I might even go as high as 25. I like the potential here. I'm into this one. Iheanachor, I'm not saying I necessarily want him, but at the same time, I see the value. Do you like sports? If you do, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players' projections and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. I've had a great time using Prize Picks so far. It makes this daily fantasy thing so easy and fun, and it even makes watching the games way more exciting. And with the cool social feeds feature, you can share lineups with your friends and even follow partners to tail or fade their picks. Obviously, we're in the NFL offseason right now, but we've got basketball, baseball, hockey, all kinds of other stuff, so don't be afraid to test things out in whatever sport clicks with you. You can even pick multiple sports in the same lineup and sweat everything at once. And don't forget about team picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So, download Prize Picks, America's #1 sports app. And don't forget, Code HMA, that is HMA, gives you $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize picks. It's good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. Okay, so moving on from Mr. Max here, we go on to a pretty big drop-off here, although I don't know if I know why fully. I think I know why. Gennings Dunker. And this is somebody that Seahawks fans are pretty hot to trot on, or at least have been. I don't know where we are now, but things have not gone terribly well for Mr. Dunker in the pre-draft process. Iowa, 23 years old. He is 6'5", so kind of short, 320 pounds, so that's good. Arm length is decent, 33 and a half, that works. 10-inch hands. Not very athletic, not a supreme athlete. So I will say that we're not exactly talking about a mobile player, but a good player. We are at the point now where pretty much every big board has him in the second round somewhere. One has him in the third. Aggregate late second. He's played very well the last couple years. He did drop off a little bit in 2025, I guess, but still, good pass protection numbers, not a lot of penalties. So there's a lot to like with Dunker, but over the last few weeks, it feels like things have really slipped with him and people aren't as into him as they were before. But that may not be a bad thing, and I'll get to what I mean by that in a second here. He's got tackle-worthy length. He does. This will cut the mustard at right tackle. Technically, it might even cut the mustard at left tackle. He's high effort. He's always pushing, always trying to win the rep, always going until the whistle blows. He generates big-time movement in the run game. He's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of pop. He's got a lot of leg drive. He's got strong run-blocking fundamentals as well. His punches hit hard, so his hands land with force. And he's fundamentally sound in pass pro, even though he's not super athletic or quick. He is someone who will fundamentally get into his slides and do everything he can to stay in front of his guy properly. Now, he's not a very smooth or athletic mover. He is a little bit more of a phone booth player. Not completely, but somewhat. He may be better at right guard, and I think that's probably what's going on here. Even though Dunker has good arm length, I think teams are just kind of coming to the conclusion that Gennings Dunker is meant to play at the right guard spot, and because of that, you are seeing his draft value drop off. He was a first-round pick at one point. Now he's barely a second. By the time we get to the draft, he may be a third-round pick on the aggregate. And if that is indeed what happens here, the only thing I can come to the conclusion of is teams looked at him and were like, well, he's not going to be able to cut it at right tackle, so we have to evaluate him as a guard. And we're just not going to value a pretty pure right guard all that well, especially when he's not athletic, which is fair. But if you're thinking about things through a Seahawks lens, I think you know where I'm going with this. His actual lateral quickness is not great. He's not fluid enough moving to make mistakes and then recover. And even though he's not tall, leverage is suboptimal. Now, a lot of these issues could be fixed by moving him inside. And the Seahawks need a right guard. They don't need a right tackle. So this is an opportunity here. I think he's a middle second rounder. I would not completely hate still taking him at 32 or 36 or 39 or wherever, because I do like the fit, and I do think he will smoothly transition to the inside. But the value has dropped just because I think teams are starting to look at him as a pure guard. And right guard is generally considered to be the least valuable offensive line position, which is fair. So I get it, but I still value this guy, especially in this draft. This is not a great draft, so I'll be a little more high on Dunker than I otherwise would be, objectively speaking. Final guy for this video is Demetrius Crownover of Texas A&M. Another interesting name here. Demetrius Crownover, 23, kind of tall, 6'7", 319 pounds. He's got long arms. He's got tackle arms, big-time tackle arms. And if the combine shortchanged him, it might be 36, which is insane. Decent hands. Only ran the 40 at the combine, did fairly well, especially because he's a bigger guy. Big boards, we got some thirds, we got some fourths, we got some fifths. The aggregate puts him in the very, very back end of the third right now. So very late day 3 guy. Playing college, not great. He allowed a lot in pass protection last year. He was a leaky. 27 total pressures allowed. 65.2 PFF grade. That's barely replacement level. 11 penalties. So he actually kind of backslid from his 2024. So the positives with Crownover, he looks like a tackle. He's got the size, he's got the length. Physically, he can do it. He's kind of new to the tackle position. That's an important thing here. He was a tight end until he got to college, so he is still learning. He's a good athlete overall, not great or anything, but I do think he's a good athlete. His punches are very effective at absorbing impact and eating up momentum from the defender. And he will be, once he figures it all out, quick laterally moving, a quick lateral mover. So I do think that there's potential here. He still has a lot to learn, and you're going to have to live with that. You're going to have to contend with that. Leverage is going to be a problem. Like, I don't view this guy as a great guard option because he's too tall. I think he needs to play on the outside, and his arm length would make it kind of a waste if you moved him inside. Sloppy technique on footwork a little bit. Timing and form when put into space is a little bit shaky right now. Maybe he can get better. And instinctually, things like understanding how far back he has to drop to protect the quarterback with where he is in the pocket, not all the way there yet, which is not surprising. So I'm not as optimistic that Crownover will realize his potential. Like I think Iheanachor is a lot more likely to get there, but Crownover has immense potential as well. His issues are fixable. I'm a little suspicious. I'll still go late third, which is where he is on the aggregate. I say late third. Late third is fine. And yeah, I think that will do it for this video. So starting tomorrow, we will be talking about the day 3 right tackles, again, with a little bit of an emphasis on who can slide inside because that's what we're looking for right now. But that is going to do it for today's video. See you guys later. Go Hawks. No more videos today unless something big happens. Might be on Twitch later, might not. We'll see. And go Hawks.